Now is the perfect time to also sow our Snapdragon seed. So I am going to be doing mine today. If you want to join in, the videos for sowing and growing Snapdragons, literally everything you need is already on my website. So you can visit that whenever you want. And what I'll do is I will save the videos on cut-ins and put them here on this page so that you've got everything together whenever you need it. I'm just filling my trays full of gritty compost mix, same as always. I can't find my pop tamper, so look, I've just got enough cut of Neil's wood here. That's just good enough. All we want to do is firm the compost into the cells enough so there's no air pockets, but not too much that you can pack the soil and knock out all the air. We're not making mud pies here, so I'm going to give this tray a water before I sow the seeds because it's much easier than watering afterwards and then potentially moving your seeds out of position. There we go, you can see I've done a few trays here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to water them now and then I'm going to leave them to drain. So if you're going to be germinating indoors, you don't want puddles of water everywhere. So it's a good idea to either fill the cells in the morning and then sow in the afternoon, or you can just fill the trays one day, water them, and then tomorrow morning sow your seeds. Won't do them any harm. The water will drain away. You won't end up with puddles all over the house. And then once we've sown the seeds, we're going to be adding a propagator lid anyway to stop these cells from drying out. So you shouldn't need to water again until after the seeds are germinated and you brought them down to the greenhouse anyway. That's what I'm going to do. The magic of heat. Look at that. So these, they've all taken, you can see every single one. So these are a result of putting them on a heat mat. And if you're interested in heat mats, if you're interested in getting one, I'm very passionate about heat mats. There's lots of information on my website, so I'll pop a link for you so you can tap through and have a look. But yeah, these are ready now to be separated, but they've got enough space, so if you're a bit busy, you can leave them for another week or so. They'll be absolutely fine. They're looking in rude health. You're going to be using a propagator mat in the greenhouse if you've got electrics in your greenhouse, and I can't recommend this one highly enough. I've had it for years. I've cleaned it up this morning for its Instagram debut. But it's very, very sturdy. If we suddenly get a cold snap and you've got sensitive seedlings and they're in the greenhouse, you can actually fit, with careful manoeuvring, you can actually fit 4 trays on the heat to give it enough protection. And this is just 24 hours later, so you can really see the light kicking in and making a difference to the growth of the Snapdragons. It's the perfect time to sow them. Get your seeds out. Now, Snapdragons like a warm germination period, so if you don't have a heat mat in your greenhouse, it's a bit too chilly at the moment to germinate them without a heat mat, so then you're going to want to germinate them indoors. I'm going to put mine by the back door where there's plenty of light, and the second I see germination, I will whip them down to the greenhouse so they can get plenty of light and they won't get leggy. If you're missing some of your seeds, you can't quite work out where they are, you know you bought them. They're in the fridge. We put them in here to chill down, do you remember? So that's where they are. If you've only got 5 minutes today and you want to just get some seed started, then a good one to go for is the agrostemma, because we want that to flower about a month after the autumn jump starter. So do that one, and then also do the snaps because they take absolutely ages to germinate. So get those ones on the go, and then we can worry about the other seeds in the next few days. The eucalyptus, I didn't do that till March last year, so I will be doing mine in the next few days, so I'll let you know when I do. But otherwise, just leave it in the fridge for the time being if you haven't got time. But we'll be sowing this one really easily, I will show you. And now you've found your malope, you can get on with sowing that, and also your scabious. I've also got my stocks to do, but they germinate so quickly. So if you're tray sharing, you just want to give your malope a head start. There's a video on my website which explains exactly. So we give them a head start, and then in the same tray, if you want to, you can then sow the stalks, and then they should all germinate and need to go in the greenhouse at the same time. As well as having all the detailed information in your handbook, don't forget you've also got your checklist section. So whether it's the spring Grow-A-Long or the autumn jump starter, you can, if you want to, just separately print out the checklist, take them down to the greenhouse, and then you've got all your seed sowing information really simply presented and at your fingertips. And it doesn't even matter if you get it wet or mucky. You put it in the compost afterwards. And with our malope, this one is slightly different in the fact that it needs a little bit of darkness. So chilling the seeds and then covering them, nothing fancy, with just some compost to plunge them into darkness makes a massive difference to their germination. Just remember, if you're tray sharing, sow your malope first in this side, then do your compost, sieve your compost, before you sow any more seeds, because if they need light for germination, you might accidentally cover them with compost, and that would be really annoying because they need the light. So sow your seeds first, sieve your compost, then if you're tray sharing, you can sow the next variety of seed. Just like everything else, I'm going to cover it with a propagator lid. Don't worry, the compost is dry over the top, because by putting the lid on, the moisture that's already in the compost will actually rise up and moisten that compost that we've just sieved over. So I'm going to take these up to the house, just like everything else, and leave them to germinate. And I found last year I had such fantastic success with the chilling and then the covering. I had malope coming out of my ears. What on earth is he making now? Anyway, I brought you in here just to show you an update on the malope. So I put the propagator lid on and you can see the condensation. So that is moving the moisture around, keeping the environment humid, and it will also get to that top layer of compost that we added.